Hello and welcome to the last of my Twixmas, partly because we've run out of Twixmas in theory, because it's normally the period between Christmas and New Year, or is it 12th night? I don't know. This is all made up stuff anyway. But today I'm going to show you the last of my Advents, because I've got to open them a day ahead of time, and so we can get the boxes in the bin, and show you what I've been working on and what I'm intending to cast on next for the 12 cast-ons. How are you? How have you been? I think I've already seen you this year. I will do a podcast and talk about what I've been up to, which is not a lot, on Sunday or Monday. But today is Friday the 5th of January, and it's dull, and it's actually light at the moment because it's only about before 2 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon. Tom and I are putting the decks away. When I say Tom and I, I'm Tom mainly, putting the decks away in a bit, and then I'll get this uploaded, hopefully early evening. And when he gets the decks down, up, when he goes into the loft, he can get me a couple of bags down, and I can get some more wool out to carry on with my cast-ons. It's a plan. So first of all, let's deal with, I am in a mess here as always, the Advents. Oh, there's going to be some crinkling and I will cut it out. So first of all, the needle and thread, which is a BFL 4-ply, and I've shown you the first two lots of, the first 12 skeins, and these are the remaining 12, I think. And I think we've gone into a sort of a chestnutty, I can't work out which order these go in, because some of them don't look like they follow through very well, but it doesn't matter, because it's up to me what order I put them in anyway. So first of all, I think these are the next ones. So you've got, I'll just undo them. So we've got quite a few orangey tones, brown tones in this. And Olivia herself is a redhead. So we've got that. And then we've got these, which I'm not going to undo. So you've got a brown there, a sort of a lovely chestnutty colour, which I think is probably the colour that I bought those big skeins of for Wonderwall to make a cardigan. And then you can see we're gradually getting onto the pinker end of the spectrum. And then I've put all these together. So then we're going into, it's going to fall apart, so we're just going to take them apart in a fit of, not anger. So those were the next two. And you can see that's quite a bit pinker. And then I'll show them you next to one another as they went. Those are fairly similar, but that one is closer to the dirty pink that I'd like her to dye for me. I've talked with her about it, but I don't know whether she's going to come back and dye, because she said she's thinking, she sort of implied that she was thinking about what to do next really with needle and thread. Personally, I do like her colour palette. It tends to be warmer than cooler, which suits me down to the ground. And then finally we have an almost grey. It's a soft, there we go, and that's the needle and thread. I'll just tell you what I think of the Advent overall. Advents are not cheap. I think Libby's was a better value than some of them in terms of being cheaper rather than better value, because that's not fair really, because Libby's had no extras in at all. There was no extra skein for the 25th, and there was no option to purchase extras. You had a box with 24 doors on, numbered, and in each one was a mini. It had a plastic frame inside, a bit like a chocolate Advent that you'd get. And I'm perfectly happy with that, because that's what I was expecting. She made it very clear, and I'm happy with the colours because I like a warm palette. Now, there's a lot of oranges there that a lot of people wouldn't like. Ange of Yarn and Yarns would, but it's not to everybody's taste. But she did show pictures of her wall. You know, it's not quite a rainbow, I'd say, but so you knew what you were getting. I mean, there's no reds in there. I mean, this is almost the nearest to red, which is a pink. So as long as you knew what you were getting, I'd say this was good, and I'm really pleased with it. I'm biased because I've always liked her stuff anyway. So, and I'm pleased that I knew I was getting. I don't think I would have been, personally, I would have been disappointed had I not known. I'm going to stop the camera, and I'm going to come back with the camel's yarn. Right, so I'll just have a quick slurp, and then I'll show you the camel's yarn advent. I've got tea at the moment, tea without milk. Tetley's tea without milk. Okay, I think we got as far as with the camel's yarn. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about order again because I'd seem to have lost my way somehow. I've got these two, and I might end up showing you what you've already seen here. So we've got a dark green going through to lovely if I can get outside in decent light, I will take some photographs of these so that they come out here. I need a new camera. Anybody got any recommendations for a camera that isn't too expensive that I can take decent pictures with? And then, you see, I can't find the link between where it goes from. Anyway, yeah, I might be showing you something you've already seen. Apologies. And then this is the last few colours here. And they're all speckled, some of them are very, 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 very similar to one another. And they've just got a very slight difference. In fact, there's a couple in here that when I pulled them out, I had to put them side by side to sort of prove to myself that they were indeed different. And I think it's these two here. Oh no, you can see that they're definitely different, but one's a bit lighter than the other. But again, you know, and it feels so nice. This was called From Moorland to Sea, or Coast, and it was a lot more expensive than the needle and thread one. I think it was about £50 more, and I'm going to give you my honest review now because I'm entitled to my opinion. And you know, if you may not agree, you may agree, that's fine. I'm just going to tell you what I personally thought. Nothing too bad, you know. It's just that for that, what did you get for the extra £50? I had superwash merino, non-superwash merino. I don't know whether that's a more expensive yarn. I know, and it was very well curated. She'd put a lot of effort into dyeing different colours. It's beautiful the way it goes. It's going to make an absolutely gorgeous faded sweater, I think. And I think it would be a waste if I didn't wear this. Hopefully it won't pill because it's non-super washy. I might get a better wear out of it. Not sure whether I'd knit it doubled up because I've got 580 grams, haven't I? So for your money, you've got a beautiful box with tied with a ribbon, a flat lid, opens, wrapped in tissue paper, and then you had 24 small square boxes, all labelled with a picture on as well. There's been a lot of effort put into this. And I'd seen the mood board, so I'm not at all unhappy with the palette. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's also 4 packets, 4 gusseted envelopes in like a paper bag with a piece of cardboard, a piece of card inside listing the colour names. Well, I wouldn't have, I haven't kept any of those. And I thought that was a bit of a waste of putting those in a bag. But then she included 2 extras in the box of 24, and those were in a bag. So I suppose having put those in a bag from days 1 to 6 or whatever it was, then she'd put the card in the other bags, if you know what I mean. So everything looked the same. Anyway, I told you about the candles. A beautiful set of 9 candles in the bluebell scent that I've given to a charity shop. And I kept meaning to look up how much that company sell their candles for. You know, they're all going to be hand poured, whatever. And I don't say whatever to dismiss them. You know, I like buying from small brands, and I know you pay a premium for it. Then on the last day, I think it was in the last packet, when I was thinking, is that, you know, the only extra for the money, for the difference of £50, I had this, which I love. Now one of the colourways, and it's going to be one of these, I would have thought. It was called Mackerel something or other, and I think that's gorgeous. The only thing I would have done personally is I would have tied it up with a different colour string instead of white, and I will try and do that, and this will go on my notice board. I love anything like it. It's like a stamped porcelain. Don't know who it's from. She didn't say who it was from. It looks like it might be her own C there, Camel's Yarn logo. So she may have made them herself, I don't know, or commissioned them. But yeah, I'm very pleased with that. And that is worth, you know, you'd pay, I don't know what I'd pay for that. I've not looked for anything like that, but I'm really pleased with that. I think it's beautiful. Only thin, little hanging thing. I think I'll get something green. Might even pinch a bit of wool. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? And put that through there instead of the white string. So yeah, I was very pleased with that. And then one of the big differences in the cost was you've got an extra skein for Christmas Day, and this is really almost the whole range going down from moorland to sea or moorland to coast. Useless, aren't I? It is called Moorland to Sea, yeah. And this is non-superwash fingering, and it's 100 grams, 400 metres. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. So the only thing I will say is I think it was a bit over-packaged. It was beautiful, but there was a lot of packing to throw away because you had all the individual little boxes and the bags, and they all had like she'd done, obviously got some photographs and put numbers on them and everything, and it was beautifully done. But for me, it was slightly a bit too much. Not that I would have expected to pay less, maybe, but I thought it was I don't know. I'm not moaning for the sake of it, I hope not, but I don't know whether I'd spend that much money on an advent again. And heaven knows I can't buy an advent next year. I might buy one. I know it's a no buy year, but by then that'll be for 2025, won't it? Bend the rules. Bend the rules. So overall, I am pleased with the advents. I thought the one was, they're both beautiful. I'm pleased with the wool in both of them. I'm not disappointed in the Camel's Yarn at all. I just think the packaging was a bit, it was very luxury, very luxury. And she probably advertised it as a luxury calendar anyway. So you take your chance, and you know, I think I've only been disappointed in the wool in one calendar in all that I've bought, and I've probably bought about 8 or 9 now over the last 4 years. That doesn't sound too bad, does it? And the only reason why I didn't like one is because the colours didn't blend very well, and they were like a sprinkles type theme throughout, and it wouldn't have been my choice. But having said that, it had lots of extras in it, and it wasn't too expensive, and I've used it all in blankets, so I'm not moaning, you know. So there you go. Those are my comments on my 2 calendars, and I will, yeah, persevere. Now, put those away. I'll see you in a minute. Back again. This is a jelly bag that I bought. I told you I'd succumbed to buying off Temu, so I'm a total hypocrite. Because Tom was ordering something, and I wanted one of these for ages. I mean, you can't put knitting needles in them, they'd slide out if they're not attached to anything because of all the holes. But I really like it. I think I showed it the other day. And it's holding my lanterns shawl, which was bought for me by one of you lovely people. And it's a pattern by Sylvia McFadden on Ravelry. And I looked at it because I wanted to add beads to a shawl, because I like doing that. And I looked at lanterns and I thought, yeah, because of the shape it is, it's got motifs that come to a point. I'll put a bead at every point. So I keep my beads in a little, I can't remember if I showed you this, little pot. It's an old jam jar that I got from, being out and having toast and jam probably. And in there is a mixture of the white lined and the pink line beads I got from CJ Beader online. This is Rose from Woolly Tangle, and it's a merino silk. Probably not the best bead. I certainly wouldn't do the method where you put beads on the wool and then pull it through as you need each bead. And then if you do that, the bead will sit like that instead of like that over the stitch. And you can get into all sorts of trouble doing that, I tried to knit a cardigan when that happened, and it told you to put so many beads on the wall, but the beads were only at either end of the cardigan fronts, so you had to move the beads along, and then you had to get one and pull it all the way along a whole row's worth of wool to get to it. I thought, this is going to wear the wool out, so I just took them off and made them sit differently. But I'll show you anyway. I will do, a couple of you lovely ladies, Pip and Carol, said, how do you put a bead on with a crochet hook? I'm sure there are YouTube adverts, videos available. But I need to practice filming from above. I've not had time to do that today because we've got to put the decks away and I need to get me wool out for the cast-ons, but I will do that quite soon while I'm still knitting on this, obviously. So I don't know if you can see, but where you can pick up you can see the motifs. Obviously this hasn't been blocked. See the motifs, and at the top here and the top here are beads. I'm no good at holding things up. And it's quite an easy pattern. Having said that, I went wrong several times. I got a bit complacent, as you do. You can easily get complacent with lace. I don't know whether I'll learn it completely, but I'm getting there. So you do the first chart, and now I'm on the bit where you do the second chart 6 times, and you can do it more times if you want, depending on how much wool you've got. And I don't want this to be too big. I don't know whether I'm going to keep this shawl. I love it, but we'll see. Yeah, I probably will keep it because it's really pretty. So what I've done with the beads is I do, I've started off with the white lined ones on one row, and then the next time I need beads, because it's only every 8 rows, I do the other colour. So I'm just alternating them up as we go. And I have some darker ones. If I run out of those, I've got some darker ones that will tone in with this as well. The pattern changes and there's sort of a different lace edge on the shawl. So yeah, I'll put a picture of the shawl up, but that's how far I've got, and I'm quite pleased with that. I've been knitting on it. I had to undo quite a bit because my spine stitch had become twisted. Now I know nobody's going to notice that when it's around my neck, but it really bothered me, and I ended up having to unpick so many rows. It was down about here, and I've got to probably the next pattern repeat up. And the merino silk splits easily, even though it's lovely to feel. It really is lovely to feel. So that's my my lanterns. I won't show you my crocheting hook just at the moment because it's all wrapped up. This is a clover hook, and I prefer to use this because I know when my hook is upright, because when my hook's in that position for when I want to get the stitch that I want to put the hook, the bead on. So it's got a protector on it, and I've used some washi tape to secure it because they come off very easily. So that's my lanterns. Now, I won't talk too much about my next cast on because I'm in a bit of a pickle with it, and I'm sure you lovely people will know what I'm talking about. See, the poking through. Let's put it down and sort it out in a minute. As part of the 12 cast-ons, my next one was going to be the Ashmore, and I was going to do it with Bear Yak and the Needle and Thread advent calendar, and use more colours than Rachel Ilsley of Unwind Knitwear puts in her yoke, because I've got them and some of them are similar to one another. I could create a fade effect or clashy effect or whatever, and the colours are quite subtle. Well, they're not, anyway, they go well together, a bit jewel like. So I'd got all that in it, and I looked at it, and I looked at the neck, and I saw what amount of ease was in the jumper, and the gauge, and it was something like 27, was it about 27 or 28 stitches on a 3.5 needle, and I'm going to go hysterical here. I'm not going to get to that. I'd struggle, because I'm a loose knitter. I really struggle to get gauge on any of these jumpers, and I thought, well, I need to do a swatch, but can I be bothered? No, I wanted to cast something else on. I wanted to put the lanterns to one side and cast on my next one, because when Tom goes up in the loft today, I'm going to have more wool down here, and I will start to go sinky with all the wool for my cast-ons. I'm not moaning, I love it. So instead, I put a picture of the jumper I found next, called Soundwaves. I forget the lady's name, I'll put it on the screen. Faye Kennington, I think. I might have her surname wrong. Definitely Faye, somebody. She's in Vancouver, and I quite like this. I bought this jumper a long time ago, and I'm trying to use the patterns I already own. I found a gorgeous pattern, which I'll talk about that in the podcast, that I definitely want to knit at some point, but I wasn't prepared to buy it because it's only the 5th of January, Anne. Not to spend any money. I do keep looking at stuff. So I decided to do Soundwaves. Now the Soundwaves has got a main colour, which is the pink on the photograph, and that is going to be the Bear Yak. And then the black in the photograph is going to be this, which is very subtly tonal. It's mainly a purplish colour, but it's also got bits of blue and a splash of turquoise, but tiny. So it's not coming out as a very variegated wool. And then if you look at the photograph, and I'll put the photograph up again now, between each Soundwave, if you like, a band of colour work, you've got another paler colour, which is called Driftwood on the pattern, that is, I think, a sort of a mid to pale brown. And I wanted each of those to be a different colour. So after much picking up balls and putting them together type of thing, I've come up with these 3 to put in with the I put a picture on Instagram, which I'll put here, but these are the 3, if I get them all in my hand, those are the 3 colours that I'm going to put with that and with that, and I think they pop quite nicely. It's going to be quite low contrast. I haven't taken a black and white photo because I don't want to know if the answer is going to be rubbish, because they're not sitting together, and I have a choice because of the boobage situation. I may even do an extra repeat and make the raglans, make the yoke even longer because of the arms, me getting my arms in, you know. The reason why I stopped doing the sparkle cardigan is because the arm holder depth wasn't deep enough for me. So I went to cast on last night, and I started casting on with the needle, which is all in the details on the Ravelry page, and I think it was something like a 725. I haven't got it here because I'm not organised. I am useless. I'll put it next door on the bed out my way to tidy up before doing the podcast. But it was a 2 something, I think it was a 275. And I thought, this is never going to work. So I went up to a 3.25, so I jumped 2 sizes. And what I did, I cast on the number of stitches it says, and I've done 2 rows of rib. And then because I was doing a long tail cast on, I did the German twisted. I had quite a bit of wool left over for me one tail. So I started casting off in one direction, which is why this looks a bit weird. And then when I'd run out of wool, because I didn't want to waste it, because I knew this wasn't going to be reknit, I went round and did it the other way. It doesn't matter, it doesn't, too much detail on. But I've got this, you can see how it knits up, the one substitute for the black. It's quite nice, it's quite tonal. You can't see really any specks of colour from a distance. This is on 2 sizes bigger than the pattern calls for, and it won't go over my head. Tom said it's a bit more than a third, if double, so 2/3. It needs to be, yeah, it's 2/3 of what it should be. So I'm a bit stuck now because I need to have a look at other patterns I've made, and I think the Sipler by Caitlin Hunter is a 4-ply, and that fits me nicely, so I might use the stitch count from that and then see, just to start off with, because I want to put short rows. I'm not sure there are any short rows in the Shockwave. I want to put them at the back of the neck because, you know, I might get a hunchback when I'm older. I am quite round-shouldered. So yeah, you know, it's one. It's like the hokey cokey. Put your right foot in, your right foot out. I used to love doing the hokey cokey when I was a kid. I got being dragged along the floor by my grandparents, probably because my little legs wouldn't go fast enough. Wow, the hokey cokey. It would have been in something like a village hall. I can't remember what the do was. Somewhere near West Heath, I thought. My mother will know. Anyway, and for some reason I remember eating a meringue snowman, but I don't know whether that was at the same time. Don't know. Your mind plays tricks on you. Anyway, so that's my dilemma at the moment. I've just done that, finished that, and I was looking at it thinking it's not going to be big enough, but it's going to be worth my investment in time to do this, to see whether it's going to stretch nicely and go over my head, and it obviously doesn't. Tom said I could force it, but you'll end up with a bagged out neck again, like I've got on the worsted boxy. So that's me up to date. I'm wearing my City Limits jumper, number 3. The other 2 are in the wash, and I'm going to have a go at washing them on wool, doing a tighter spin, faster spin, and then tumble drying them on gentle. It should work in theory because they're all super wash. Don't think they've got any singles in them, but we'll see, won't we? Be a good way to get rid of. So like my tablet was about to shut down. Good way to get rid of some more wool. Not that I want to, because I quite like these jumpers. They're very comfortable. I'm going to see you. I've been talking now for 30 minutes, but some of that will be cut. A bit longer than I'd intended, so sorry if I've kept you too long. I will see you in a couple of days' time. Look after yourselves. Let me know what you've been doing. Are you joining in with the cast-ons? I know a few of you are. There's no pressure to do that, obviously. And, yeah. And I'm going to attack the neck, and I'll let you know how I get on. Hopefully, I would have done the neck ribbing on this Soundwave before I start another cast-on. So, and before I speak to you again. Other than that, I'll want to be chopped up into little bits. I don't get like that in my head. I rarely get that worked up in real life. I'm going now. We have got the most stupendous lamb curry for tea that Tom made yesterday. And I'm really looking forward to it. But it's only 2 o'clock now. We don't eat till about 7, 7:30. Got a long way. Might go in search of a bit of a snack for dinner. You take care. I'm getting irrelevant now and waffling as usual. Take care. Have a good weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.